I better turn this fan off. Hi, I'm Raymond, and you're listening to Insert Quest here. Today's quest is Base Raiders. This should be, we believe, the final episode of our base raiding campaign. So we're going to jump right into it, but first, let's have our players introduce themselves, starting with Ryan.
Hi, everybody. I am Ryan. You may recognize my voice from such actual play podcasts as Ragnarok, which you should all totally be listening to. Today, I am going to be playing Amriel, who is a demon who is resurrected to the earthly plane by an evil sorceress who disappeared during Ragnarok. She has since become a professional base raider and has joined the next two characters on their adventure. And if you are Ed and you are listening to this, you are now thirsty.
Come on, Ed's not listening to this.
No, probably not.
Alex?
Hey, speaking of guys who aren't listening to this, I'm Alex, and I am not listening to this because I am speaking in this. And I will be... That was a horrible introduction. I tried to segue. Did not work. I'm going to be playing Greg, and you might all go, wow, I am all over the map. Ragnarok, me too, Greg, Fart Cloud, piloting a spaceship. I'm done.
A+.
That was just, wow. Okay, let's see if we can round
Speaking
this
of
out.
people who are done, I'm Finn, and I'm playing Yuri, which, to give a full rundown, back in the 80s was a professional rally raid racer. He was killed in a horrific car crash while racing. Later, closer to now, was resurrected into a robot samurai body by the evil villain Cyberneto to be as part of his robot samurai army in Japan. Following Ragnarok, Cyberneto disappeared, leaving all of the samurai warriors just wandering, which means there's probably a shitload of Yuri-esque people just around. Implications we haven't really thought of.
Japan has a robot Ronin epidemic that we haven't addressed.
No, they've got like a robot Ronin like rehabilitation program where they all like work as street sweepers and like janitors and stuff.
So I've been thinking about
They just like blend them into the tourist industry.
Oh,
Right.
I want to do that wandering samurai game where it's that. All right. Anyway, continue on. You were at samurai.
Sorry.
Hello, you're
We're all
listening
doing well.
to the Men's Coughing podcast.
Sorry, I swallowed
And you
some water
made fun
away.
of me for bailing early.
Maybe we should all stick to print.
Yeah, I swallowed some water the wrong way, and then I didn't have time to mute myself. Anyway, Ragnarok happened. Cyberneto disappeared. Ronin's wandering. Yuri took up base raiding. Because what do you do after you've been a professional motorsports racer, died, and then come back as a robot samurai? You find something more fun to do. And so he's pursuing base raiding. Also, he totally mostly forgot all of the people he once knew in his former life who are now 30-something years older / dead. But he's kind of working that out. Oh, yeah, and then midway through, we found a... I feel reticent to say Hitler clone. It was a clone for Hitler.
Indeed, because it's not actually a Hitler clone, because the guy actually used the cloning of Hitler as a smokescreen to clone his own body, and then just did some plastic surgery to make it look like Hitler, so Hitler wouldn't notice.
Yeah, so it's a ripped clone for Hitler that had Hitler's face, but I changed Hitler's face, and now I have a samurai Oni face because I didn't want Hitler's face because no one wants that.
I didn't want Hitler's face, so I went with Demon Troll.
Yeah. Which is better. Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Definitely. Yep, that's pretty much where we're at.
Yeah. Yuri's had the most drastic transformation has the backstory of about 5 or 6 characters. And that's what we shoot for here at Insert
and
Quest
instead
here.
instead of gaining superpowers, I've progressively become more normal.
Yeah, indeed. It's actually kind of reminiscent of the New World of Darkness mummy game, where you start out as like this powerful god and then become less and less powerful as you remember more and more of your past life. Anyway, so when we last left off, you guys were waiting out the last few days in lunar orbit before the race, where
We're
you
waiting on the moon.
where presumably you will drop down from orbit to the quote-unquote landing site, and then tear ass across the lunar expanse. The teams that you'll be going up against are TKS, the TKS Super Race team, who are the Japanese/Brazilian triplets that focus their efforts on getting to the base as fast as possible. They don't have superpowers, but they have a lot of super tech. They are engineers at heart, and they like to engineer their way out of problems. The other team that you'll be competing against are the True Survivors, who are all various tropes of 80s action heroes that come from a parallel Earth where the American military and government was disbanded due to Native Americans taking their land back. And these guys were like, you know what? Let's go to another dimension, seeing as we no longer have jobs. The other team that our players have been coming up against this season have been knocked out of the race, the Valkyries, because they just had their team chewed in half in the last race.
Literally, I think.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So the various teams have made modifications to their cars so that they can hopefully survive on the surface of the moon. Likely TKS is just going to bring a whole new car because that's their thing. As for the True Survivors, who knows what they're bringing. They normally ride in a 4-wheel drive and on dirt bikes, so who knows?
They're gonna duct tape all the seals, duct tape the windows closed.
That'll work.
That'll be fine. That'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll be all right.
They've got scuba tanks for air.
That's the logic that got us to that base on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, no, that was caulk, Ryan.
Yeah, no more gaps. Cotton soaked in tar.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're chilling on the moon waiting for the go-ahead, I guess.
Yes, now, unless there's anything in particular you want to do beforehand, I think we'll just jump straight to the last 30 minutes before the race.
I just want to check. So we have, last time Greg modified the suits, the space suits. So everyone has one.
Yes, and you gave them armor.
Armor and maneuver thrusters.
Yes.
Amriel's has space for her wings. Yuri's is roomier for his demon suit. And they all have a racing stripe up the right, so they go faster.
Yes, I recall you mentioning a racing stripe.
It's a very important detail.
And I believe you made them all
colored.
different primary colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? I probably also added the Raiderade logo onto each of them.
Yes.
You do. Fantastic. So
And the Datsun is moonproof?
Yeah.
yes, Yuri did
The
Do you
Dutchman
want-
has some aspects about being moon good.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
We took care of it.
Moon good.
Yuri
Yeah, it's got steps
assures you
inside of
he
the
took
moon.
care of it.
It's so good. Trust me, guys. It's all good. Yuri
What's
says
under this
reassuringly.
top? Oh, it's a weather experiment. All right, brilliant. So, you guys are checking over your last gear, and you get a call from. Let's go to my notes page where I have the list of the characters. You get a call from Sora, who is the reporter that you guys have done interviews with in the past.
That's the one that Yuri was asking about his life.
Yes, they knew each other when Yuri was alive the first time. It occurs to me we haven't thought up what the moon edition of Raiderade is, if there is one. So we've had Egyptian edition. So Raiderade is an energy drinks company that sponsors our adventure racing. If somehow you have gotten to the last episode of this campaign and missed all exposition, Raiderade sponsors and runs a superpowered race of which our players competed. They have different editions of their energy drink in different countries, as well as for different events. We had a Egyptian edition, which is grapefruit flavored. Slovak edition, which is a caffeinated beer. French edition, which is just generally citrus. Pacific Punch, which was passion fruit, pineapple, and coconut. And Butch Juice to celebrate the release of what was it?
Hell Butcher 4 Return to the Butching Floor.
Yes, Hell Butcher 4 Return to the Butching Floor, which is a game published by Dimension Gate. Is that the name of the company? Yes. Published by Dimension Gate Games. Oh yeah, I've got it written right there. Which is supposedly marketed as the blood of hell. It is molasses pomegranate with a hint of cinnamon, spelt S-I-N. It is served in what looks like an IV bag. It is very thick.
Yeah.
So what are they doing for the moon? Or does it have nothing to do with the moon and it's just like a special commemorative can for the conclusion of this series?
No, that's not their jam though. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it's really tasteful and it's just like
no,
like
I was going to say
they do a minimalist version.
I was going to say that they they're releasing the Lunar Mysteries collection, and everything inside is just clear liquid, and it could be any of the previous flavors, so you don't know what you're getting.
Okay.
Or they have rocket fuel.
Rocket fuel. Well, so the thing I was thinking,
just literal rocket fuel.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking,
it's a mystery flavor, and one of them sometimes it's kerosene, but you don't know. And if you get kerosene, you win.
The idea I had was maybe it's just called Raiderade Victory, and then it's got the current year, and they change some of the color on the can, so there's one for each Raiderade race.
Oh yeah.
And it's a champagne energy drink.
Oh wait, what if they did runs for different teams? So like each team has their own flavor, and you can quote unquote support your team by buying their flavor.
Sure,
yes,
okay.
They have Raiderade.
There's three. There's the
Ethereals
one.
The Etherenuts? Can it be Etherenut flavor? No.
They wouldn't have had enough time.
Yeah, we haven't gotten that into mass production yet.
Or just to synthesize, it's all artificial.
Well, so why don't we do the other teams first, and then you guys can come up with yours. So we've got TKS Sports Fuel. What this is called Sport Fuel.
Super Fuel.
I mean, we can go super
Sport
fuel,
fuel. No, sport fuel's good.
which I think probably ends up tasting like Chinese Red Bull. It's a vitamin drink. It's a caffeinated vitamin drink. It's kind of like Gatorade. It's not effervescent, basically.
Okay.
Surely, True Survivors. What would theirs be? Not the flavor, but the name. I think maybe theirs is an alcoholic variant, seeing as they party hard.
Mhm.
True Survivors. Last Stand Lemonade.
Last Stand Lemonade. What is the alcohol portion of that?
Grain alcohol? Or are you talking like percentages?
No, great alcohol works. It's grain
I'm
alcohol.
thinking it's
with
basically
lemonade.
like a Mike's Hard Lemonade, but rebranded.
Okay, cool.
Maybe worse though. So
And
no,
what
it's
is-
Lynchburg lemonades in the can.
I'm sure this means things. It's an alcoholic lemonade.
Lynchburg lemonade is basically whiskey and lemon juice, I think.
Oh god, that sounds rough. Those two flavors even go together?
Lemon. Oh, and triple sec. Oh, sour mix. Okay, so it's a little bit of lemon, Jack Daniel's triple sec, and sour mix. That's where you.
Right. And what is the ethereals
What?
drink called or consist of?
What is the ethereals drink?
You guys are going to have an opportunity to effectively, I'm going to borrow a wrestling term, cut a promo before the beginning of the race. You know, something that you're saying that's there to hype up your fans, but the implication is that you're sending a message to the other teams. I mean, you could do
Final
something.
Destination,
Final Destination. Okay.
but with a drink pun.
Final Destination.
No, I think it's in the final. It's gonna be like. No.
We've got a demon,
It's the
former
final.
ghost.
It's the
and a
final
cloud.
drink down.
Or what if we play to our strengths? The ethereals exploding base. Because we tend to blow up bases.
Exploding base, almost implying that you use this as a mixer with alcohol.
I like that.
All right, exploding base it is.
What if the gimmick for this one is that it's like double carbonated?
So it's like it always.
Explodes.
If you bump it like the can will rupture.
Oh no! It's a special.
A suggestion from the chat for a final destination with a drink pun at the beginning. Funnel destination.
I was thinking, what if the ethereal one, the exploding base, is like a built-in slammer? So it comes with like a small drink on top of the can, and it's designed that you have to slam it down and like shake it and then mix it as it's like foaming all over the place.
Yep, brilliant.
Yeah, to pretty much open it, you have to like smash the shot into the drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Drink
I love it.
And then chug it.
Love it.
I don't know why I'm writing this down like I'm ever going to have to refer to it again. I guess if I ever do a Raider raid, I guess I might reference these if I do another Base Raiders campaign. Combined Slammer drink. Super fizzy. Refer to soft drinks or sodas as being fizzy in America?
Yeah.
You can.
Sometimes we just call them
Bubbly
fizzy
comes up more.
drinks. I don't quite know why we call them soft drinks. I guess because they're not. I guess it probably comes from them being not alcoholic.
Yeah, they're not hard drinks.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, and depending on who wins, Raiderade will like send a bunch of stickers to all the distributors, victory stickers, to put on the winning team's cans as they stack them onto shelves and whatnot. Cool. So yes, Sora is calling. She wants to do an interview with you guys before the race, and you also get a message from Raiderade Marketing saying that they want you guys to do a bit of a promotional work before the race begins with your exploding base drink that they have released for you guys, and they want you to try and hype up the race and everything like that. And there's kind of a direction at the bottom of the email that says, we totally love that you guys have formed close bonds with the other teams, but this is a race, and so
Make it good.
try to make that part of what you're doing these next few days as you're out there on the moon. This is costing a lot of money.
Is there anything telling us not to encourage riots?
No, that's good for them. Like, you guys are already ostracized from America because base raiding is illegal, and you guys televise your base raids and make promotional gear. Like,
That's true.
I don't even think you can buy Raiderade in America anymore. I think you have to like buy it in Mexico.
Damn.
And have it smuggled across the border. You know what? Maybe you can buy it in Native American territorial zones.
Yeah. Like, go there for your tax-free cigarettes and Raiderade.
All right. Yeah, so Sora is calling you.
Cool. I'm the one who answers the phone. Isn't that it?
Yeah, generally.
Pretty much. That's how I answer the phone.
Yuri, I was wondering. It's Sora. I was wondering if you'd like to do an interview with me. In particular, I'd like to talk to Emriel about her alleged illegal entry into the United States recently. Obviously, I want to talk to you guys about the race and everything you're doing there and what you're planning for the off season. But I definitely just want to telegraph loud and clear that I'm going to be asking about Emriel's recent alleged activities in the United States.
I hold my hand to the phone. Emriel, do you care about talking about doing illegal stuff?
No, not at all.
Oh, good. Yeah, that'd be fine for us.
Wonderful. Well, if you guys have Skype up there, I guess we can just do a Skype interview.
Sure. I hold my hand to the phone. Greg, do we have Skype?
We have Wi-Fi.
Okay, yeah.
You guys have a laptop, I'm pretty sure. Surely you have an emergency laptop.
I feel like we're talking about. Oh no, that's
so.
right. We were talking about the spaceship being Bluetooth controlled.
Yes, indeed. Well, yeah. So you have an iPad.
Well,
so
I have the iPad. Yeah.
yeah, you have a
It's got-
webcam.
Don't hit any buttons because this does control the spaceship too.
Just turn that app off.
Then the ship would crash?
Would it?
I don't know.
I haven't tried it.
It's in
I
a
thought we-
stable orbit at the top of the moon. You did land,
okay. I think we're all
gather
right.
supplies and shit because you wanted to
Right, yeah. Yeah, we did.
but
Okay.
you took off again.
Right. All right. So as long as we're in a stable orbit, we should be good for
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
length
then
of
we're-
time it takes to do an interview.
yeah. Surely
Yeah,
you don't need
okay.
to tweak controls. Oh, yeah, you should be fine. It's
And
big
if I do, I'll just hang
expensive.
up on her.
Yeah, exactly. So where are you guys going to do this Skype interview? Where on the ship?
Where's the coolest looking part? Well, I guess I'd be able to answer that.
Yeah, it's your ship.
What if we do it in front of the gravity reactor? Because it's got like all the Tesla coil electricity arcing in the background and everything. It's pretty cool.
Are we going to be shouting over like electricity arcs the whole time though?
I think you might.
Maybe. Okay. So
Like we'll be trying to speak and I'll just be like.
I mean, considering that a phone getting a text message near a microphone makes the microphone go weird, I can't imagine what it's like to be basically inside a Tesla coil. I would assume you'd get some distortion, regardless of the thunderous cracks.
Maybe I don't want to do it on the bridge because that's where all our secrets are.
Well, you've got your observation window.
Oh yeah, the observation room. We
Yeah,
can like
your
tilt
little-
it up so you can see all the stars.
What is that thing called in the International Space Station? I think it's just called the cupola or something like that.
International Space Station. Let's see. Yeah, the cupola.
There we go. You found that quickly.
I googled International Space Station observation room, and it was the first thing that came up.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks, Wikipedia. Yep.
Fantastic. All right, so you guys are going to have it there.
You know what? We
Yeah.
get the marketing woman from Raiderade to hold the iPad.
Funny note from the chat. Introduce the Raiderade employee as a temporary member of the team.
We don't want to doom the poor woman.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
you're gonna-
fourth members of our team are like our Spinal Tap drummers.
They're your Welshie, your Kenny, your who else dies that isn't just called a red shirt? Your other members of the Beatles.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So you guys are up in the observation deck, and the woman's like, "So you just want me to hold this?
Yeah, you know, make sure
Could you
that
make a stand or something? Your friend is literally a molecular printer."
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you busy with something else?
Well, actually, no, I'm not.
So there we
Well,
go. We just made a
Could
stand.
you
Well
please
done.
hold this iPad?
Answered your own question.
She stands there. She stands there passive aggressively, as much as
Besides, we're all wearing Raiderade logos. We're marketing.
as much as a woman holding an iPad can stand passive aggressively in 0G, she does.
I could take away your butt Velcro.
Well, she's standing, so that won't help. Her foot's probably through like a little loop.
Just saying. No, she would be able to stand. We're on the moon.
Well, no,
You're not
we
on-
haven't landed. You're in orbit.
Oh, right. No, we're in orbit. Yeah.
So that you
Wait,
guys
then couldn't we just let the iPad float?
in theory, but you won't be able to get it to float motionlessly. It'd be
Yeah.
super difficult to do.
Right.
All right,
To
she
the
can do
point
it.
of, do you have the aspect gravity manipulation?
My
And it
ship
turns out this is a radio interview.
does.
And we could just ask her to hold it. So there we go.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So you get the little Skype call.
Boo boo boo. Boo boo boo.
It says it's from Sora.
I can't imagine we have that many Skype contacts.
Yeah, Sora the reporter.
Could you press the button and answer that for us?
She presses the answer button. Oh, hi guys, how are you doing?
Oh,
We're doing really well. We're doing
good.
great. Yeah.
Excellent. We'll start the interview in a moment. I just wanted to get everything sorted, make sure we have a stable connection. I'm surprised at how how strong a signal we're getting.
Oh, I installed very strong Wi-Fi on the ship.
Brilliant. I believe Greg also at the end of last run said he was going to put up a communication satellite.
Yeah, that's it.
We're actually
Yeah, because like just installing good Wi-Fi is like accounts for the fact that we have internet in space. It
There's
reaches all the
just
way
a
back.
router.
Our home
There's a
base is
router
back in
sitting on the
California.
shelf next to the iPad that runs the ship.
Yeah.
You just put a pirate box floating out there with a solar, with like a shitty solar panel like you get like on a calculator strapped to the side.
Or just like like it zooms out and there's like the modem and it like looks at the Ethernet cable and then the camera just like follows the Ethernet cable back to Earth.
You've just tethered your spaceship with a trillion miles of ether cable.
That's the boosters along the way.
That'd still be like a fucking 10-second
We're
delay
actually-
at least, surely.
We're actually stealing internet from an apartment complex in Dayton, Ohio.
We're rerouting all our Skype calls through Dayton, Ohio.
Some guy walks to his apartment, just sees a wire. What the heck? It just runs out his window and up into the sky.
Hey, Sarah! Did you put in a new Ethernet cable? What? Think our neighbors might be stealing our Wi-Fi. All right, brilliant. Okay, so I thought we'd start off with some questions about how you felt the race has gone so far and how you've been prepping for this last leg throughout this series. And then we'll roll into some questions about that should lead nicely into some questions about your activities in the last few weeks, and then I can ask Emriel about the alleged illegal entry into the United States, the violation of U.S. airspace, the supposed charges of conspiracy to incite domestic terrorism, and so on. Are you guys comfortable with
I
that?
don't think the charges would be suppositions. Charges would be real.
Brilliant. All right. So we'll just get things started. How the fuck would this interview start? What would be her fucking sign on?
Is she doing it live?
Yes.
Oh.
Actually,
She'd
she probably
probably-
isn't doing it live.
No, she probably wouldn't be. She'd probably record it, edit it, package it, and then do an on-air intro.
Yeah, so she doesn't need to do an intro. She can do one later in the studio.
Yeah. She'd be like, I sat down on Skype with ethereals members, blah, 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 blah. We roll the
I was
tape.
gonna say, I'm not even a journalist, and I wouldn't interview us live.
Yeah.
I do. Okay, so I'm here with the ethereals. You guys have had an amazingly good year, all things considered. One of the best runs in the Raider 8 Race to the Base Adventure Race International Series history. Short as it may be, you have won every race that had a single winner, and even in the new switch-up variety, the lock-in race that Raider 8 ran last month, you came out on top in that as well compared to the other teams, especially compared to the Valkyries. Do you have any thoughts on maybe why you've been more successful than the other teams despite them having more experience?
Beginner's luck.
Also, we run a lean operation.
We are
No
smooth
excess
operators.
baggage.
Smooth operators.
You know, we also have a fart from space to make us whatever we need whenever we need it.
Hello.
I
Yes,
feel like they might do to fix that loophole in the rules next year.
many
Oh, I hope not.
many commentators have talked and had lengthy discussions about Greg as piece of equipment and also team member. You're the only kind of person like you that has ever been on the Raider Raid circuit. Even mages that have taken part in past years haven't been able to produce nearly the same kind of results that you have, regardless of whether they're using summoning spells or not. Do you feel, Greg, that your unique special advantages give you an unfair lead over the competition?
Oh, I don't know if it would be an unfair lead. It's balanced out. For example, you humans enjoy the benefit of being able to touch things.
But
that has come in quite handy for many teams, I would imagine.
Well, you've recently circumvented that limitation of yourself with the addition of your little hard light projector.
Well, that is true, but my ability to touch things is dependent upon having that hard light projector. Were it to be removed, I would simply be a cloud of gas.
Fair enough.
There are many differences between our species.
Fair enough. What do you think about suggestions that there should be similar restrictions placed on people like Greg, similar to those restrictions based on teleporting and flying? And that's addressed to the whole team.
I don't know. It's for the wigs to figure out.
Fair enough.
I mean, in a race between where the entire point is to acquire as much power beyond the normal limits of humanity as you possibly can. I mean, I suppose there should be some mechanism limiting that, but that's anti-individual, I feel.
Perhaps they should. Oh, perhaps they should consider different tiers of racing.
Oh God.
Sort of like power tiers.
Yeah, maybe we could separate them out into mundane. Oh God.
The only trouble would be to figure out what happens when they have to interact. Maybe one side has a gross disadvantage.
How do you determine how people of different power tiers interact?
With dice.
Yes. Amriel, you mentioned individuality. You've recently become somewhat... you've recently had a second burst of popularity amongst teenagers and youthful members of society because of your speaking out against the suppression of individuality. There have even been claims that you illegally entered the United States in order to do private demonstrations with certain student groups. How would you respond to these claims?
Well, I'm not going to deny that I'm not going to deny anything. Amriel is going to stop referring to herself in the third person, first of all. I feel like the power structures on Earth are seeking to perpetuate themselves, and people are getting ground to dust under their boot heels. And a lot of those people, if they were given the opportunity, could, in fact, become great, do something great, do great things. Who am I to say whether it's great good or great evil? I think the important part is the potential there and not stifling that potential.
Is that why you allegedly started a riot in Miami? and allegedly handed out boost patches to young American teenagers?
I don't like to think of it as a riot. I prefer to think of it as the first phase of an open rebellion, perhaps. And a little rebellion is healthy. You know, one of the founders of the American state said that.
Well, you seem to have some eloquent words about to share on this topic. Do your teammates support this action, Yuri? Greg, how do you guys feel about Amriel supporting this insurgency in the United States?
Amriel can do her own thing, in my mind. I mean,
Yes, honestly, I wasn't paying too much attention to it. I was building a spaceship.
Of course.
yeah, I saw her on the news, but you know, we've been busy. Being busy, we can't have too much time to follow current events in our line of work.
Also,
So you guys have been working very hard on preparing for this race, then?
oh yes,
Mm-hmm.
I had to get this spaceship functioning with the
Quite
help of TKS, of course.
Yeah, you seem to be working a lot with the other teams. Do you think that that's going to make this last race difficult for you?
The previous races haven't been any more difficult, and I feel like without the Valkyries here, then it'll be business as usual. I mean, that's not to say that we're not gonna take it easy on them. If anything, they're gonna push harder against us because they're on good terms with us and want to try and make a good effort of it.
But whoever wins or loses, I don't think there will be any hard feelings.
Do you guys have plans for what you're going to be doing in the off season? Whether you'll be returning next year to take part in the next Raider 8 series?
I feel like we look to Greg.
It depends on the modifications I can make to my spaceship. If I feel that it is ready to destroy the Z-Cloth fleet and free my people from their oppression, I'll probably leave this planet. Otherwise, I might stick around for another season to gather more materials.
Do you guys have any plans on where to spend the off season if you do not head home or accompany Greg home?
We like to kick back and relax in scenic New Georgia. And then Amriel pulls up
Where the
a
ethereal
tourist-
nuts are always fresh.
right, pulls up a tourist photo and goes into a spiel about how scenic and calming it is to watch the Pacific and tan on the beach and all the normal.
The tourist organization of New Georgia isn't even a sponsor of ours.
Yeah, indeed. You just really like
We
it
just
there.
advocated as a destination.
When you
You're
guys
talking about how great it is to sit on the jagged lava rocks on the beach, soak up the sun.
when you guys are done talking about that, Sora goes, well, do you guys have any last what is the word I want to go? Anything you want to say to your fans before we wrap up this interview?
Drink Rotorade. You pull one out.
Hey,
Slam it.
is it a Raider? Is it a what is this fucking thing called? Explosion base or whatever? Is it an exploding base?
Yes.
Brilliant.
So I slam it down and it sprays everywhere.
I would just say, try not to erect so many walls around you, around yourself or others.
Profound, Greg.
He means it literally.
Yes, there are too many walls on this planet.
Brilliant. Sora thanks you guys for the interview. And just as she's ending the Skype call and thanking you guys for your time, you get a message, Greg, an email from Raiderade.
Oh, okay.
It says,
Just me?
we have sent you a package. You will need to bring it inside. And it's signed Scout Team 1.
You,
Okay.
Greg, just reply, we already have her.
I'm going to. I know our ship has super science sensors.
Yeah.
I'm going to deploy those to figure out where this package is.
You see something the size of a keg of beer floating maybe a kilometer from your ship. Your science scanners detect that it's packed full of electronics.
Could I pilot the ship and just like open the cargo bay and scoop it up?
Hopefully, yeah, go for it. Hopefully the garage everything's bolted down in there.
Yeah, I think manually depressurize it first.
Takeoff.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I have pilot at 2 now.
/ GOG.
Make me that pilot roll.
All right, this is my first pilot roll, actually. +1.
Yeah, you scoop it in, and you guys go and open the container. There's a like a large 24-pack of your limited edition exploding base in there, as well as dozens of little grapefruit-sized metal spheres fly out. The floating, levitating, quantum entangled recording units that Raiderade uses to record the races. And they swarm about you. You get a text message from one of them. You all get this text message.
From the spheres?
Yes, it just says recording unit 0612 as the sender, the caller ID. And the text message reads, "We will begin recording. Recording promotional piece in 5 minutes."
Can I text them back?
You can probably just talk to them.
Okay. Greg just said, please do not go down to the engine room, though. That is proprietary technology that TKS is looking to benefit from.
You get a text message. We will follow you wherever you go, as per usual.
I whispered to Greg,
Right.
I didn't realize these things had some kind of intelligence.
Neither did I.
We just sort of look around at 12 of them just hovering, looking at us.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot creepier.
One of them seems to be doing a panning shot of the garage.
One of them watched me deionize once.
Here's Greg standing behind a bush, and then we hear a zipping sound. There's lightning discharges from him.
That's fantastic.
So much like the bit where you guys described the trip through France when you were getting ready for the Paris race, and you did that long touring bike drive down to Nice or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Where you guys have narrative control of what this ad thing looks like as you hype up your fans and presumably diss the other teams or whatever. You'll also want to promote your exploding base drink. But I rest control of this scene unto you. Position the cameras as you need.
I feel like we could do one of those classic 0G slow-mo numbers. with
I was
a
thinking,
bit of,
yeah, we could
a bit of
also
Mozart or whatever.
show off how explosive our drink is by slamming it and using it to propel ourselves through the zero-G
Yes.
hold of the ship.
Nice. So we'll do like a choreographed dance number where we like start on opposite ends of the frame and slam the thing and then crisscross in a corkscrew.
Yeah,
like,
and it leaves like a
formation.
trail of Raiderade and floating and glistening in the air.
Yeah, you guys knew you'd be doing something like this soon, so you've been preparing it in your off time.
There's lots of tarps.
Just like on the beats. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
To the Blue Danube.
Brilliant. And you can do multiple ads if you need to.
We also get a nice like slow motion shot of the stream of Raiderade going all over the intern's face.
She's not an intern. She's just a junior marketing member.
She's our intern now.
Yeah, she's treating her like a fucking intern. She like has a salary.
Not
Well, you know
us.
what? Right now, we're treating her. She's a stowaway, so she's lucky I haven't asked her to leave.
Yeah, indeed. There's the door, Missy, if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Maybe we do. Oh no, it may be another ad, or it may just be like the opening shot where it's just like, like a wide shot of space, and then just like slowly from one side of the screen, one of us just like comes in like using one of the cans as a rocket, just like.
In space, no one can hear how much you enjoy Raiderade.
Good.
Probably not good
That's
for
our
that
ad.
message.
Brilliant. Okay. Not a, it's a good
Yeah,
ad.
Raiderade everywhere.
It sells the drink. It doesn't so much hype up the fans, but it's a good drink. It's a good drink ad. Brilliant. So you've got the 10-minute warning that it's time to get into position. Raiderade sends you some coordinates for where they want you to land. It says it's from the marketing and legal team. It says, please hover a kilometer above this position until you get the 60-minute warning. The 60-second warning. When you get the 60-second warning, you are cleared to descend. You will be landing 10 meters behind the teleportal pad. You should be able to see it on the ground. We do not want you to go more than within 10 meters of it, unless you damage the pad, the vehicle yourselves, or the arriving team.
Oh, we can't just fly to the base?
The implication is that you can't. You're meant to travel in your base raiding vehicle. However, you could have the station follow you, your spaceship follow you to the base, I suppose.
It is Bluetooth controlled.
Exactly.
All right, so I will. Greg will pilot it over to wherever it is we're supposed to go.
Cool. So it doesn't take you too long to get into position, and you're, any last-minute checks to the car or anything like that?
Standard stuff.
Are you sure we're not all going to be depressurized, Yuri?
Sure. Sure as I can be.
Sounds so
Probably should have checked
confident.
that sooner.
Quick, Yuri, do your best impression of Greg and tell him you didn't tell me you had to worry about pressurization.
Oh, we want to not depressurize.
Well, we all have spacesuits, but generally it is better to not be exploded all over the surface of a satellite.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you won't explode. Greg definitely won't. Actually, Greg is more likely to explode than the rest of you, because Greg will just subsume into space.
Yeah, they'll just drift slowly apart. That'll
It's
be
like
terrible.
a slow explosion.
Right.
Brilliant. So you you get a flash message on your phone. 2 minutes until go, which means a minute till the 60-second launch timer. You do see a large sort of silver dais down on the surface when you look through the cameras on the ship. It seems to have almost like a chain link fence around it, like on the dais, made out of like gold though, and more hexagon shaped. You load up into the car, presumably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amriel puts on her spacesuit, tucks her wings in.
Into your wing sleeves. You need to get You need to get Yuri to help you. Such squeaky chairs all round. The sound of the car settling. Brent, you're in. Yuri, does the car do anything when you seal it up for space travel? Does it make a cool noise or anything?
I feel like maybe we've like fitted like it's sealed up, and then there's like a turn handle like vault door on the roof that we have to get in through. So the rest of the body is virtually like seamless.
You've just welded up the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
And like the whole thing's like sealed tight. And I think it probably looks a bit sleeker. It's kind of like a like a sort of single piece like rally race body kit kind of thing. And then it's just like a big smooth exterior.
And it's got those big digger legs that end in wheels.
And maybe a bit of it's probably got a bit of weight ballast and a few like oxygen tanks strapped to feed the engine.
Cool. Right, yeah, because it's still fucking
Combustion engine.
It's still a fucking combustion engine.
Yeah, we just feed it pure oxygen now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This will be great.
It's a hydrogen fuel cell. Brilliant. All right.
As we leave, the ramp like closes up behind us, and Greg goes, "Oh!" He turns and points his.
You're not leaving just yet. The counter starts on the dashboard, saying that you have 60 seconds. Presumably, you descend the spaceship.
Yeah.
You hear Raiderade announcer on the sunny call. All right, we've got an interesting start headed ready for you Raider heads now. We've got our team starting in 2 separate locations that will soon become one. We have the ethereals up on the moon beginning their descent now to the lunar surface. And down here in Barbados, we have it was Cuba, wasn't it? It's the capital of Cuba. Havana, yeah. And right here in central Havana, we have our wonderful TKS and True Survivors waiting on the transit pad. We have 30 seconds until transition. And then you hear lightning. And on the cameras on your spaceship, you see the gold hexagon chain fence surrounding the pad light up with this purple and yellow streaky lightning kind of rippling around this mesh.
As our like spaceship like hovers directly above it with like lightning arcing off it.
Well, 10 meters to the side of it, but yes.
It's a big spaceship.
It's a big spaceship. The little counter ticks down on your dashboard. Raid racers, start your engines.
And then we just get like a double cut. Yeah.
Cameras cut to you.
There's a cut of everyone in Havana revving up their engines to a roar, and us in our depressurized bay. Like Yuri turns the key, and it's just completely silent.
And then I'm like, open the gate, Greg. Yeah, and then like the cargo bay gate's just like. Eep.
You guys touch down into the dust. Just as the door opens, the counter ticks down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I assume you launch out of that bay.
What I definitely want to do is launch out of that bay as the cargo door is still opening.
Okay. Yeah, so you get sweet ass air as the counter ticks down. You see 3,
And we
2,
time it so we hit
1.
the ground of the moon.
Just as that counter hits 1, and you see like a typhoon, not a typhoon, a tornado of lightning ignite next to you on that pad for like a brief second, and you can't hear anything, but you just see flashes of light, and then there's 2 cars there, and then 2 cars is a difficult term. One of them looks like a speedboat with 6 wheels on legs similar to yours, Yuri, extending down out of it. And the other thing looks like somebody bought a tank, cut the turret off of it, and then welded shit tons of oxygen tanks and cameras and all sorts of other shit to the top of it. The sleek-ass boat car thing has TKS's slogans and everything and logos slammed all over it, and then the other tank monstrosity just has in spray paint "True Survivors" in like Kung Fury red. As they both trundle to life. One of them manages to keep pace with you. The tank slowly lumbers off the podium. And it is building up speed, but it does not accelerate nearly close to what you two are. As you rip across that grey lunar desert. What happens to the spaceship?
So Greg turns around and points at it, and the landing bay retracts, and then the spaceship lifts up and starts following behind.
Greg, as you look back and the doors start closing, you see something stirring in the cargo bay, but you just kind of miss it as the doors close and the ship lifts off.
I think in that moment, Greg's like, and then like looks to Yuri, and Yuri like gives I say this as a person inside a biosuit, inside of a spacesuit, winks at you, Greg.
You see the weird, so the eyelids of the exosuit, the bio armor inside, wink, but they wink sideways, like the dude from Men in Black.
Wait, did you leave something in the ship?
Wink.
Yuri just winks at you.
Okay.
It's all good, Greg.
As long as it doesn't get blown up.
So you guys have a rough idea of where to go. You saw where that big-ass field of stuff was. You're pretty far away, and it is incredibly cold outside. You see TKS shouting off. You don't have... Weirdly, they haven't given you those arrow things pointing you in different directions. You do see kind of a path between craters laid out towards you. Like that seems to be the easiest way to go. There's these 2 big craters out in front of you, and there's a nice big wide space between the 2. That seems to twist like a river through more of the craters, through the gaps between craters. And TKS just shoot for it.
Well, we would we'd have a pretty good idea where to go because we were there. It's like we would have been able to map the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we make a beeline.
Yeah, brilliant. Do you want to try and jump over craters, or will you take this path between craters?
We'll follow this path.
All right, brilliant.
Do we though?
It's up to you, Yuri.
Yeah. What I was going to say was I think that it might behoove us to do some stunts to put some distance between us and the other two teams, because if I were them, I would assume that we've had time to scout out the terrain and we know exactly where to go. So
Yep.
we might want to ditch them.
Yeah. In which case, yeah, like we get this shot of like TKS like weaves through these craters, and then like the Datsun just like roars over behind them, and then just like drops into a crater. You get that sort of like deafening silent moment where it's like disappears out of view, and then just like soars over the other side of the crater.
Yeah, just as you sort of shoot up the far side of the crater, you can, you guys see the huge, like, clouds of dust that you're... Actually, would you kick up dust? I think you would, because your wheels would... Your wheels would scoop... Oop, I just knocked my fan off the table next to me.
Knock it off.
Yeah, I think your wheels would churn up the regolith and spit out clouds behind you, and they'd circle the moon and take forever to settle.
It's gonna fuck up the paint, Yuri.
You, just as you're about to drop down into the crater, you see the tank emerge from the cloud and like a hatch on top of it opens, and you see a space-suited figure slide out with what kind of looks like an anti-material rifle, but with a wider barrel. It may be like a World War II anti-tank gun or something, and they seem to be like unfolding it as you drop down into the crater. And then just as you come up the other side, you hear something smack against the roof of the car as you come sailing down that far side of the canyon of the crater after jumping over the rim again.
So someone's on the roof of our car or something?
Something might have hit the car. They were pretty far away from you. Like, it's unlikely that they jumped to the car, because they would have if they were going to do that, they would have wanted to do it before you crossed the crater.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I think we may have just been tagged.
I don't suppose this could turn into a convertible, Yuri.
I didn't suppose you care about being depressurized, Greg.
Well,
we're all wearing spacesuits.
Well, there's a hatch right there.
Wait a minute.
There's a hatch in the roof.
Could I'm connected to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So can I use these super science instruments on the ship to see what's on the roof of our car?
Yeah, you see like a jelly kind of clock, similar to like if you've seen The Dark Knight, there's a scene where Batman like shoots these sticky grenades that are like gel balls with clocks in them. It's kind of like that. There's like this gel ball splatter on the roof of the car, and you can see that there's some kind of electronic device in the gel. And you can see like the paint of the roof of the car around the thing has like kind of peeled away, and it appears that like the gel has formed some kind of chemical reaction between the car roof and itself to adhere itself to it. It's probably done a cold weld.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite science things that happens in space.
Greg?
There's definitely something on the roof. So, other question. The spaceship has weapons. How
Yes, please shoot us,
precise
Greg.
could they be? I'm not asking you. I'm asking the GM.
How precise could they be? They're not super precise. You didn't spend heaps of time. Do they have the tag precise?
No,
Don't
no,
they have
do not.
tag? Don't you have like the tag deadly or something?
They have the tag Deadly 3.
Yeah, they are not precise.
Very
They are
deadly.
deadly.
But not accurate to within half a foot.
indeed.
Greg considers it silently for a second, then dismisses the idea.
Look,
No, it
trust-
cooked the whole car.
Yeah, indeed.
Greg's like,
cannot
well, it would
shoot-
remove the thing, but
you
we'd
cannot
also be
It
dead.
would solve that problem.
Spaceship. I thought you were gonna like attack the other teams.
No, well, we're not allowed to do that, right?
You're not
Well, we're
allowed,
not allowed to kill them.
directly- You are not allowed to knowingly kill a member of another team. Although you are allowed to
We-
knowingly
Cause
kill
some
a member of your
interference.
own team.
Are we ahead of them,
Yeah,
the other teams?
they're not even directly following you from what you can see. Although it does look like the true survivors in their space tank are sticking to the side of the kind of river through the craters that
Right.
you guys have just peeled off from, whereas TKS doesn't give a shit and they're just cutting that line down this thing. They seem to be like, oh yeah, there's a nice big open space. Let's drive that way.
Okay. Instead, since true survivors are kind of following the path, I would like to use the weapons on the ship to gouge out a chunk of the moon like 10 feet in front of them so they drive into it.
All right, so what are the weapons on your spaceship? What are they?
Don't know exactly. There are railgun cannons. I wrote that down. There's also some sort of energy weapon that probably you know what? Everything's anti-grav, so there's probably also some sort of gravity weapon.
The blasters in Star Wars are essentially gravity guns.
In Star.
They
Oh,
tear
yeah.
shit apart. Blasters are like gravity bolts, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, it
That's
shoots.
why they're called blasters, because they blast holes in things. They are contained force.
Yeah.
Force lowercase f, not
Yeah.
force capital F.
Yeah. So there's some sort of gravity blaster that can just gouge a hole through gouge a hole in the moon.
All right.
That's
So what does
theirs.
it look like when a gravity blaster fires?
There's a charge, like it charges up for a second, and then there is a blast of like static electricity.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine everything in the area where the bolt passes gets insanely warped because of like gravitational lensing.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like light curves around itself as it just blows a chunk out of the moon and then dissipates.
Singularity cannons. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
So it's just a big fucking weird cracky crater opens in front of them, and their thing they look you're watching on the sensors and they look like they're about to fly into it, and then you see like a bunch of red hot thrusters ignite on the side of the tank, and they go sailing up into the air, and then you see thrusters on one side fire and they start to like rotate, and then they fire the thrusters again, and now they're shooting sideways through the air in the direction of where you guys are driving.
Well, the true survivors can fly.
And then the thrusters cut as they seem to be waiting to drift down to the surface as they fly a brick.
Well, you still fall on the moon.
Yeah, indeed. They will fall
And when
back
you
down.
land, it's the same. It's basically the same as if you fell from half that distance on Earth.
Yeah, indeed. They'll have
So-
to find they'll have to do like a retro thrusters thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they just dropped a tank, which is probably not the best.
I'm sure they know what they're doing, right? They're all military personnel. And
Well,
the
it seems that
livestock.
everyone knows where the base is.
Well, everyone knows where we are.
Yeah, is more accurate.
Well, we can't really open the car to get rid of. I tell them about the bonded thing on the roof.
Yeah.
We
I don't
can't
see
really
why this
open
can't
the
be
window.
just a. We haven't had a good straight up and down race yet, really.
All
That's
right.
on you, driver.
This
Sounds
would be a
good.
great opportunity to like shit talk the other teams, even playfully, anything like that. This is an RP opportunity worth mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Do we still have like that open radio channel?
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Radio works on the moon. You probably even get further ranges. Actually,
The curve would probably be the horizon is closer.
well, there's something
maybe
to
not.
do with. I know that the radio waves can be bounced off the ionosphere to get like extra distance, but let's
Yeah.
just assume you'll be fine. Because the moon wouldn't have an ionosphere, is what I'm talking about. But I don't think like normal radio communication even worries about that.
No.
That's why AM radio carries so far.
Yeah,
FM
and
doesn't.
it's also like
Yeah.
why people with ham radios in New York can talk to people in Sydney, depending on what is happening with the ionosphere on a specific day.
Yeah.
You guys have seen Frequency, right? Where Jesus Christ talks to Dennis Quaid.
Little Chief!
Anyway,
It's a great movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time. They made a TV show about it. Now it's on Netflix. Anyway, what are you guys doing? You're sailing across the moon in your car. There's a tank brick rocket hurtling towards roughly where you're going, and TKS is doing something.
Well, Greg's not very good at shit talking.
Emriel, you used to be a demon.
Yeah. Amriel gets on the radio, and God, I don't really have any good lines handy right now. She says,
You could make some comment about how the true survivors can't find the base on their own, so they have to follow you.
I was gonna say, wow, true survivors. Seems like you know who did all their homework before class today.
You hear Julio come back. To be honest, Emriel, I was never really one for homework, but I am really, really good at cheating. And then you see out of the side windows this brick just smash down into the regolith, this massive tank, and it just starts churning up the regolith as it rips across the surface.
So now that they've landed, I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
Greg's going to go out on a limb and say that maybe they burned their fuel and try to basically just pull the same trick again.
Mm-hmm. Go for it. Make me an attack roll.
Yeah, my sentient cloud skill has, I guess it would be shoot.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. The roll cancels out, so that is +4.
+4. So, two options. You can do the exact same thing again, or they are passing close to a crater. You could shoot the crater wall and try and eject rock at them.
What's the team think?
I think just obstruct them. Shooting rock seems
Okay.
What?
Yeah, I'll go with the.
I think
I'll go with the-
essentially like running interference on them / like even if you like did small fire and just like tore up the ground directly ahead of them to like cast dust and stuff.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, so I'm going to go with the
We just
crater
need to
wall.
fuck with them.
So you're going to shoot at the crater wall?
Yeah.
Okay. That will eject rock at them.
Yeah.
Okay. So you shoot the crater wall, and it explodes, and you see like this whole crater kind of crack and rip apart across like a quarter of its rim, and rock like explode in all directions and crumble, and you see TKS like trying to do zigzag maneuvers with their tank, not
True survivors.
Yes, the true survivors, sorry.
Mhm.
True survivors trying to do zigzag maneuvers with their tank, not exactly known for being super maneuverable vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, they can turn. They can do some really tight turns, but it's not normally tight turns while also going forward
On the moon.
on the moon. So you see like rocks slamming into the tops of them, and then they seem to just after a few seconds of trying to swerve through the rocks, you see them just like hook to the left and sort of turn away from the crater. They're just going to drive on a straight line away from the crater, which would be tangential to their original course. So you have succeeded in cutting them off for some time.
Keep trying
Probably
to
bought
copy
yourself
over.
probably bought a few minutes.
Is there any sign of TKS?
You can't see them from the car, but maybe
Mhm.
Greg can.
Greg's going to take a look at the spaceship. Through the spaceship.
Mm-hmm. Make
Super
me
Saiyan
make me an investigation. Investigation's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Examine.
Examine.
Alertness?
It's not alertness because you while tracking the true survivors, you lost sight of where TKS is, so you have to try and work out where they are.
Yeah, I think it would be examine. I don't know if there's investigation.
Examine works.
Oh, no, there is investigation. But can I use examine?
Sure.
Yes.
If you're looking at like the tracks in the regolith as opposed to
+4.
that's all. Yes, you do manage to find them. They have drastically changed their course, and they are now jumping over craters too.
Are they
in our
heading
direction?
toward the...
In your direction, although they look like it looks like they went straight down this path for a while and then turned. You're not quite sure why they made that choice. They're running parallel to you now, or they will be soon if they start picking up speed. They'll be running parallel to you, but about like 10 kilometers, well, not even 10 kilometers, like 3 kilometers to your west. Whatever. To your relative right. Should actually be east if we're going relative east, relative west, but whatever.
They're farther away.
Their vehicle does seem to be faster than yours, not by heaps, but by some.
By a bit. Ryan, were you going to say something earlier a second ago?
No, I was going to say, as the true survivors pull out of the crater and veer off, Amriel gets on the radio and she says, you keep trying to copy over our shoulders, Julio, and I'm going to tell teacher.
See, that's good smack talk. That makes good television. Yuri, how's this driving going?
It's good. We're careening over through craters. I'm in my element insofar as driving over rocky desert.
You do notice the tires are kind of slipping more than you'd like. You're doing a bit more drifting. It is not like sand. It's like driving on. It's similar to driving on fresh powder.
Yeah,
like in snow.
I feel like I feel like I might have some familiarity with this of like powdered dust in like super arid areas.
Yeah, indeed. But like regolith is different to sand and dust.
Yes.
It is kind of more like makeup powder in
Mhm.
its like a rouge, or a powdered foundation or any kind of makeup powder. Really, it's not
Ultra fine.
It's ultra fine. Like I'm not saying it's a problem for you, but you are like slipping around a bit, so there might
Yep.
be. Drifting is easier, but it also means you're drifting.
But, but I'm not going to say that I'm drifting more than I would like to be.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm drifting more than I usually would be.
Indeed. This might be a complication or something on certain kinds of maneuvers and things like that.
Yep.
So you guys are jumping craters still?
Is there anything else we can do to go faster?
I don't know.
Not really, but do we want to try and? I mean, we could try and lead them off a bit.
If they're following you guys, expecting you to know where to go, you could definitely try and lead them the wrong way.
Do we? So, so True Survivors have like pulled off behind us and are sort of lost us a bit. TKS are sort of heading in our direction, but aren't like near us. Yeah.
No one can see you, has line of sight on you directly. The True Survivors have a tracker on your car, and you are not sure how TKS may or may not have been tracking you.
I mean, also we should consider we're being followed by a huge fucking spaceship.
Yeah. You are being followed by a huge fucking spaceship. It could be possible that TKS is extrapolating your position based on how the ship is following you.
Hey,
do you want me to leave the ship behind?
Not quite. Greg, could you bring the ship overhead?
Yeah, I bring the ship overhead.
Bring it down close and open up the hull. Open up the hold.
Okay.
Oh, good. I won't send you a message then, Finn.
Okay. Greg brings the ship down and opens the hull or the hold door.
Good. And I think I pull the Datsun into like a handbrake turn stop. Pull up and then as the ship comes down, I like hop out of my seat and start like opening the car hatch. And I'm like, you guys hop out. I'll take this ride.
Hop out.
You take the other car, and then like as the hold opens up, a second Datsun in yellow rather than red, like rolls onto this dirt.
Wow.
That's
just the one. Okay.
Emerald, can you drive?
Greg can drive. He's got pilot.
Greg can drive.
Greg can pilot.
Just the one for now.
All right.
Emriel can drive. Oh, all right. She has a +1.
Okay, yeah. Then 2 come out. Fuck it.
What's the other coloured one?
In which case, I think actually the main Datsun should be yellow because it's my Datsun.
All right.
Oh yeah, they should match up with the colors on our spacesuits.
Yes. So the main Datsun is yellow, and then the hull opens up, and a red and a blue one roll down the path onto the dust.
Wow.
There's minor differences between them, but for the most part, they're pretty much the same vehicles.
And I'm like, this is Dats 2 and Dats 3.
That's 1. That's 2. That's 3.
I was all on board until that.
That's too much.
Man. Greg turns the guns on us and just blows us up.
This might also be an opportunity to try and take that tracker off your
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. I'm
I'm
going to look
thinking
at.
if you want to have ore, you guys head ahead to the base. I'll lead them off for a bit
Well, if we could
and catch up
remove
once
the
you guys
tracker,
arrive. True.
you could like hold it and then ditch it somewhere.
And then
and
that's true.
meet
Okay,
up.
let's make it quick.
So I'm going to look at the tracker and see if we can remove it.
Either you're going to need to dissolve the bonds, or you just cut the piece of metal of the roof off. I mean, Yuri does have a spacesuit.
I have a spacesuit and a
yeah.
super suit, so that's not the worst. It's going to be quicker.
Greg can't do it though because
he's not a cloud.
Space. Yeah.
You guys have cutting tools, so you could grab a welding torch and cut the.
I'll do that. Okay, I'll pull out Yuri will pull out a toolbox, hop onto the roof, and like fire up a cutting torch. And I'm like, you guys head off, make some gains. I'll start work on this in case they catch up first.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck.
And
the
maybe send the ship.
Contact.
Keep the ship at a bit of a distance, maybe, so they can't follow directly it.
I'll keep the ship here, just hovering high enough that we can use it to relay our radio signals.
Yep, sounds good.
So it's maybe like maybe 50 meters above the highest crater near here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, if Yuri's going to be going south and we're going west, it's going to get harder to communicate. So the ship will just be hovering above.
We can bounce our signals relay through that.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're out on the top of the ship, the top of your car, cutting this panel.
That's one.
On the that's one. And this piece of metal, you cut it, and then it falls into inside the car. And then you scramble to get back in.
Yep. As the other two tear off.
Yeah. They don't have much of a lead on you, but some. You imagine that you can only wonder what the teams are thinking, especially the true survivors, whether they've noticed that your bleep has stopped moving or not.
And then I'm going to... So which way are we currently heading, essentially?
Let's say that you're heading south for convenience.
Cool.
Whether it's south or not. In terms of our navigation, we're going to call it south. To your east, to your west, if you're heading south, is TKS kind of running parallel to you. And maybe a kilometer behind you at most are the true survivors.
Yep.
A kilometer north of you.
I'll take off more in the southeasterly direction.
Brilliant. Now, Greg, with the height that you have the the spaceship hovering at, rather, it's hard to see where the various teams are, so it's not going to be super useful as an observation tool, but that doesn't mean you can't use your radio signal sensors to try and track people's movements that way. You do have the radios in all of the 3 cars you guys have, plus the spaceship, plus so you could try and use that to triangulate positions.
I think it'll probably be more important for us to get there fast. Well, yeah. So I'm going to try to see if True Survivors and TKS, if they're following Yuri.
Yeah. So it's going to be a super science roll, as you've got to do some math and some electronics. Yuri, describe for me your sweet ass driving.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
In the DATS 1.
I'm going to try and make double speed kind of thing. Mostly, I'm going to do a lot of pushing DATS 1 hard, doing a lot of just hitting the rim of craters to just try and to leap the entire crater.
Yeah. Using those springy legs to give you a little bit of extra oomph.
Yep, just doing a lot of long jumps,
Yeah.
and then like
Cool.
slamming back into the ground, then like speeding off and hitting another rim.
You crest the top of one crater and you realize that this is a double crater. Just as you go sailing into the air, it basically, the point that you hit is actually longer. You're unsure whether you're going to make your landing zone. It is significantly further than you anticipated. What do you do as you go sailing through the lunar air? Or lack thereof.
Or like, yeah, the lunar sky.
Yes.
So essentially, I'm going to land like within the second sort of crater.
Yes.
That sounds.
But you won't be landing on like a slope. You'll just be landing on a flat plane, so you won't have a
Yep.
gentle ascent. You're just going to slam down onto the ground.
I'll like fully extend the car's hydraulic legs and then like sort of set them to lower pressure so I can try and like absorb the landing.
Yeah, so they'll kind of like...
I don't have much aftertouch.
Yeah, brilliant. This isn't burnout. So you're soaring through the sky, and you're fiddling with the settings. Make me a drive check to make sure those settings are all ironed out. You see the Martian ground accelerating towards you, and you've done it just right. When you set up the robotic suspension just right. As you feel the car almost bottom out, you see like the knees of your leg wheels pop up at the side windows, and then you spring back up to your normal riding height.
And this kind of like spray of hydraulics like clouding off on either side.
Yeah. You see almost riding along the top edge of the crater, and you just see like the shadow of the light of the True Survivors tank shredding the top of the mountain of the crater. They are within eyesight of you. As you ride up the wall of this crater, they close that gap on you as you have to climbing.
Yeah, I imagine there's like, it's like, and we cut to that moment where like they're like tearing along the side of the crater, and then the Datsun like roars up the hillside and then like lands on the path right in front of them.
Yeah, and they're pretty close, and you see that hatch on the top of their tank thing open up again.
My whole rear view is tank.
Yeah, you see somebody in a spacesuit crawling out onto the top with that with a different gun. This looks like almost like a shotgun, except the size of like a sniper rifle. It's a massive double barrel shotgun, and they just like lay it down on this bipod pointed towards the back of your car.
I definitely want to go. No, I want to go like so. Essentially, like I like looking through the rearview mirror can see this, and then we just like cut to this like narrow view of like Erie's close-up face, in that kind of like eyes narrow in concentration of like let's do this. And I want to do it.
Your weird insectoid suit eyes narrow sideways.
We got a little like X-ray view of my actual face.
Yeah, it like sort of
and
cuts
I, like, narrow
away
my eyes
like an anime thing.
Yeah, it's like a triple shot where it's like we just get like the astronaut helmet blank face, and then it's like bug helmet, narrows eyes, actual eyes,
narrow
eyes.
Even narrower.
I was gonna say like Iron Man when they have Tony Stark inside the suit.
The
Yes.
the screen in the anime version of this, the screen splits into 3 shots as if there were
Yep.
3 different faces, even though it's all
3 different characters. It's just me. Yep.
Yeah. They're
One of
all
them is
Yuri.
expressionless. One of them is a bit hard to read. One of them is an
Nice.
Oni face.
Yeah.
And then I want to like them as they pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
The Datsun like kicks off with like front hydraulics and then back hydraulics, and like backflips backwards.
So you want to flip over the tank?
Yeah, possibly
Alright.
land on the tank
Well, make me a drive roll.
or behind them. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
I got a bunch of fate points. I rolled a -1, so that's 3, which I want more than that. So I'll spend a fate to get +2 on that to make it 5 again.
So with a 5, do you want to land on the tank or behind it?
5 doesn't seem like quite enough to like gracefully land on a tank in such a way that I might not crush that person,
Yes, indeed.
which I don't want to do. So
It
I'll
will
land
be
behind
like
the
a
tank.
car being dropped on a tank.
Yes. So yeah, I just try and like, shoot back to land behind them.
As you flip back, just as the person pulls the trigger, you see this cloud of metal shards just fill the space where the Datsun was. And
and
just
we get
go
this
sailing
slow-mo
and
shot.
spreading.
This slow-mo shot is like the Datsun like sails backflip over them, and then like as the Datsun's above them, you can see Yuri through the hole in the roof that I've cut, just giving the member of True Survivors the finger as I fly backwards.
That would have also been a good time to chuck them a exploding bass drink. Just
True,
like
maybe that's
throw
better.
it at them like
I
a
like
grenade.
pop it and then drop it down at them.
Yeah, like a grenade.
Yeah,
Do you want to do that as well as flip
Yeah.
them the bird?
yeah, both. I take my hands off the wheel.
Yep. So you like slam the top shot down into the can and then drop it out the hatch as you give them the middle finger, throwing a can of energy drink alcohol at them like it's a grenade. And you just see the can like vibrating and expand and then just pop, and it's like when you cut open a can of expanding foam. It just spreads everywhere. All over the top of the tank. It's not like doing any damage to anyone, but it's super
It's just
annoying
very
and
sticky.
inconvenient.
Yeah, that one True Survivor is going to be sticky as hell.
Yep. It's so fizzy. I don't get it.
And we come back into real time as the Datsun like hits the dust at the back behind the tank.
See, Zack
And then,
Snyder,
like,
you
wiggles
can
a
do
little bit.
good things with slow-mo. Consider. Back at the Debts 2 and Debts 3.
Yeah, so I got Greg got a +6 to triangulate everyone.
I think also Greg is Dats 3, Amarillo is Dats
Yeah.
2.
So, in the Debts 3, you have worked out that it appears that Yuri and the True Survivors are almost on top of each other. They're very close to one another, definitely.
Okay.
You are just using radio signals to triangulate, so you're not going to get super precision.
Yep.
And the TKS Super Race team seem to have cut their pace slightly. They're moving slower, almost like they are unsure of where they're heading, but they are still moving more or less in a straight line the way they were before. But they've definitely slowed down. And you can both make me an awareness check.
Okay.
It is visual based, if that helps. Oh yeah, I just remembered. Embriel's got the armor of St. George on.
Right. And I kind of forgot about that entirely.
Do you mean alertness?
And we didn't give it stats.
Yeah.
We'll just give it an aspect. You'll just have an aspect. Should you come up against dragons?
Oh no, I did it. I did it last time. I gave it the disguise, guile, convince, inspire, and willpower trapping. So it's more of a social armor.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad you statted it out. I was worried we hadn't.
Do you mean alertness, not awareness?
I do
Okay.
mean alertness. God damn it! I always get fucking confuse those two.
No, I just didn't. I forgot. I didn't know if it was a skill I didn't have.
Okay.
I got +4.
I got +3.
Before that, Greg is going to message Yuri. Yuri, be careful. The true survivors are right on your tail.
As you're watching,
As I'm like watching behind
survivor
them.
in a spacesuit wiping foam off themselves with their massive gun.
And I'm like, got you, Greg. I'm gonna briefly for this. I'm gonna like slow down, essentially like hit the brakes, and pull away from them before that true survivor gets a good look at like through the windscreen kind of thing.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, they're wiping the foam off themselves and the gun, and then they like snap the gun open and pull out these two big, like glowing, smoking shells. They almost look like metal eggs that had the tops of them cracked open. They're glowing like yellow, and it like pulls these pieces out and like just chucks them to the side. And then you see them open up like a box on their belt and pull out two more. Yuri, you can't really make them out, but they are.
Yep. As I pull back.
And he slams them in and locks it shut as you're pulling down the mountain away.
Back to Greg.
Back to Greg.
Yeah.
So you
So I got
guys you guys can tell that the TKS team are sending up drones.
So I can't attack the team. Can I attack their drone? Oh no, the spaceship's too far away.
You can attack their drones.
They sure hate it when we attack their drones.
They
That's
do
true.
hate it when you attack their drones.
It did take us like 2 runs to make up for that.
Yeah, but that was more because you attacked like one of their sentimental drones. These seem to be the drones that they're throwing out. The reason you can make them out is because you just see a bunch of streaks of like bottle rocket exhaust. They're just putting, so you can get cameras that you can attach to model rockets for like rocket enthusiasts. They've just gone to a store, dropped 10K on a bunch of those and just made launches for them on their car. So like these cheap like $200 rocket drones are just streaking up into the sky and beaming back basically webcam quality footage as they blanket like a few square kilometers of the moon in camera footage.
Okay.
They'll definitely be able to see DATS 2 and DATS 3.
Yeah.
They might miss DATS 1.
Can they control, or do they just launch them? They can't control them.
They just like launch them in all directions.
They just launch them straight up, and they probably just like have a program that's running, essentially pattern recognition software. Pick out car shapes.
Right. Is there a crater nearby?
Sorry, what was that, Greg?
Is there a crater nearby?
There's craters everywhere. The moon is covered in them. I meant at the backside, as we worked out last run, is covered in even more.
Fucking filthy with them.
Yeah.
Even more craters.
Can we find a spot, like, so if the blind spot of the camera, so like if we park the Datsuns like on the wall of the crater, that like the cameras won't be able to picture them?
It's possible. It's definitely possible. It's risky because like you're still kind of just out in the open. There's no overhangs to these craters or anything like that.
Well, I mean,
but it's possible they might not get a good camera angle on you. So it's like a risky kind of thing, but it's totally viable.
Would that be like a super science roll to see if I can figure out where we should park?
It would be, if we're just talking in mundane skills, it would be something like a navigation or stealth. Stealth would work. You wouldn't be able to use your unusual stealth because it's not unusual.
Right. Can I do pilots? Like drive the car in the right spot?
I feel like it's not pilot.
How about science? To science the it's just super science.
I could do mundane stealth to find a good spot if that would work, if you would accept that.
I think mundane stealth is where we want.
Can I use mundane dodge to just...
It's not dodge.
Yeah. All right. Ryan, do we each have to roll or just one of us?
Just one.
All right.
I'm at fair, so let's see how I do. And I've got some fate points. All right. That brings me up to +3, and I will invoke Fall Down Legionary. There's definitely been some training about good conceal positions in Emriel's past.
I imagine that demons have to hide from angels and shit flying above them.
If you're ever fighting angels on the moon, this is what you do.
Yeah, if you ever find angels on the moon, you want to hide in a big ass fucking moon crater.
I told the Centurion that this was never going to come up, but goddamn, I was wrong.
So what does that put you at?
+5.
+5. Brilliant. Yeah. You are pretty confident that they didn't get any line of sight on you.
Can Greg? Greg is going to command the ship to shoot some random area within the area that they're getting pictures of, to just kick up not near anything, just going to basically make an explosion on the moon to hopefully distract them and think that maybe we're over there.
Go for it.
That's shoot, right? +6.
Yep, that's fine. You make a big explosion thing. Your goal is to make them think you died?
No, maybe that we were kicking up a more trying to make a cloud of dust.
In which case, maybe rapid fire that rail gun to make a bunch of impacts that looks like a trailing trail of you kicking up dust rather than your gravity.
Yeah, so there's just a trail of dust in their big picture thing, that they're taking.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm going to say this right now. I think we're going to need another episode because this race is quite fun and involved, and we haven't even gotten to the best part yet.
Okay.
So there will be another part to this.
I'm happy to go a bit longer if we want to. Equally.
Sure. We'll see how we go, because it is almost 10 o'clock in New York City. So I don't really want to go past 11 for those guys.
Yep.
For New York State folks.
Hour 20.
Yeah, indeed. I don't think we'll get through the base, but I think we'll definitely get through the race. And it's one more run.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the last run will be much shorter too. It'll probably be 2 hours at most.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yuri, you're pulling off down the crater's edge.
I radio into Greg. Greg, from my position, where are TKS at?
They're over.
Direction.
I tell you the direction.
Greg's able to give me a rough bearing, right?
Yeah, indeed. He gives you. Yeah. You guys have a map that you made. It is one of the most detailed maps of the far side of the moon that humans have ever made.
Yep.
And I make a beeline for where they're sort of in a direction to try and intercept them. So not trying to go where they are, but where they're sort of heading-ish. Oh no, they're stopped though, aren't they?
They slowed down. They probably stopped for half a second to launch all those rockets.
Yep. Well, yeah, I'm heading towards them. Heading in their direction.
You're trying to set an intercept course.
Back down along this crater. This big ass crater.
So you guys start shooting down. Yuri starts shooting down to try and make this intercept course. The true survivors have their tank trundling after you, trying desperately to keep pace.
Mhm.
You actually see what looks like a thick black smoke cloud coming off the side of it. Near one of its treads.
Of the true survivors.
Yes.
Okay. I radio into them. Try to keep up.
Yeah. You pulled some nice tricks back there, but we're not out of this race just yet.
Well, it wouldn't be much of a race if you were, would it?
You
And I
wise
speed off the
crap.
crater.
Radio cuts out as you speed off. So let's skip to describing the ultimate result of you making this intercept.
Mm-hmm.
You probably will intercept them near maybe 100 meters out from the first sort of signs of the debris field.
Yep. Do I like get eyes on them before I reach them, or am I sort of who sort of ends up finding who, I guess?
I think that
Do we want to do maybe an alertness?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do an opposed alertness.
Yep. To see who it comes out for.
I have actual fate dice. I'll just roll my actual fate dice.
I rolled very well.
I could have rolled better.
I got a 5
Well, I got a 1.
with a +2 alertness.
I got a 1. So I think Yuri wins that contested
Do I get
roll.
So that's essentially enough to me. So essentially maybe I get some sick air off another crater and I spot them off in the distance. And then I cut my way, keeping out of sight of them between craters and things.
Mm-hmm. Their car looks smaller than when you saw it last at the starting line. It looks like pieces of
less
it have
wheels, or
not less wheels, but the back half of it looks lower. Almost like pieces of it have gone missing. It still looks sleek and smooth. There's no exposed space, but it just seems different to the first car you saw.
Yep.
It has a different silhouette to it.
So it's kind of so it's sort of boat shaped with a bunch of wheels. It's kind of like ATV style again, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. I would think more like the Mako from Mass Effect.
Oh yeah.
So it's like a speedboat,
Mm-hmm.
on 6 legs with wheels.
Yeah.
But it was a bit bulkier towards the back, you remembered, at the starting line than it is now.
Yep. But yeah, it's got it's like an enclosed cabin thing.
Yeah. You don't see any
And
exposed openings.
Yep.
You guys appear to be the only ones with windows.
Yep. So I essentially keep out of sight from them, and then we're going to pull a similar stunt where essentially I want to they're speeding along a flat place between craters. And then the DATS one launches up from the left-hand side of the road, essentially crossing their path, but doing more like a corkscrew flip. So I sort of hit a side angle rock to roll the car sideways.
Yeah.
And sail over the top of them. But what I want to do is, as I do that, I drop the tracker to try and lock it on top of their car.
You throw it out like a shuriken. It's a big piece of steel. As you're driving along, you're lock the steering wheel, get out your oxytorch, and cut this into a shuriken.
Yeah, well, on the way.
A shuriken the size of a sun hat.
and that's something I know how to do.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's not that hard to cut a shuriken shape.
Yeah, no, but I mean, throwing shurikens is part of my jam.
Yeah, indeed. I felt it was
Yeah, I
thematic.
just have to like sharpen the edges up a bit,
Indeed.
and then I'm gonna launch the car, essentially doing another crater jump just
You
over
want
them.
to make one of those African throwing knives? The greatest throwing knife I've ever seen. It's like the size of an axe. And you throw it, and there is no section of it. Like every section of it, if it hit, will kill you.
Is
Damn.
It's in an episode of Buffy. She just uses it as a hand weapon. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
cool. What do I want to do? What am I doing?
You're doing like a corkscrew.
So
I think
make
that's a
this
drive
happen.
roll. I think that's a drive
You're
roll
ready.
with an athletics to throw the thing.
Okay.
Or a weapon. I'd allow a weapon.
Yep. I got a very bad on the drive roll. I'm going to spend a fate to re-roll it because we got these boys to burn. Invoking. I'm gonna go with my aspect of came back for more.
You did come back for more. You came right
came
back
back
here
for
for more.
Came right here. Oh wow, that was thanks dice. I rolled a -3. I re-rolled, got a -2
Oh.
to give
Finally
me a +2 to that drive check.
Nice. Well, I mean, that's all right. You know, you're spinning a lot more than you'd intended.
That's all right. We can manage, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then athletics,
Or weapon.
I guess, or weapon. Sure. And that's a +3.
+3, brilliant. So you throw that thing out, and you just see this big piece of steel embed into the top of their car as they're driving along. So now the true survivors are tracking TKS.
I definitely radio into TKS as I launch over them, and I'm like, "What's up, TKS?"
They're like looking around on their cameras. What
What?
the hell? What
And then I sail over the other side of the road.
I thought their car was blue.
Is TKS heading towards the smoke trail I made?
They were investigating it, but they seem to be circling around to this debris field. Now, I imagine you guys probably meet up with one another near that debris field too.
You mean the alien fleet debris field?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rating to the other guys. We don't know exactly what we're looking for in here, do we?
No, the mothership.
You think you want the mothership?
Yep. We don't know
And we have
exactly
those
which one.
keys.
Do we know which one it is?
Yeah.
It was like in the center.
Oh, okay.
It was the largest ship, and it was the most intact, although it did have like a big gouge along one side, actually all around it, that looked like somebody had tried to... You know when you put an apple peeler into a specialized apple peeling machine? It looked like somebody tried to spiralize their spaceship with laser eyes.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah, I reckon, yeah, Greg, Amriel, if you guys beeline for the mothership while I lead TKS on a little bit more of a goose chase, and true survivors will come along too.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys get in and get started, then I'll bring everyone else along to the party.
Roger, Dots one.
Takes one to know one. All right, so Dats 2 and 3, you roll into this debris field. There's big chunks of metal, as big as your car, like big twisted pieces of I-beams and things, and pieces that glisten in your headlights. strange shadows falling across this whole space. As you roll deeper in country, you see larger pieces, things the sizes of buildings. Laying across your path at one point is a kind of a triangular skyscraper-like piece that seems to have a metallic, almost hyper-colored oil seeping out all around it and just staining the landscape. It doesn't seem frozen or inanimate. It seems perfectly liquid.
Greg looks at it interestedly as he speeds by. Quick question for Yuri. What fun things do our Datsuns do?
They're functionally pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
So they got like the jumpy wheels. Yeah.
You don't have sweet.
Otherwise,
you don't
they've got
have sweet Voltron Lion type. Do they plug their spacesuits into a port and cool things happen?
No.
And I'll
They've got a 2-stack cassette player.
Oh, sweet! A double cassette player.
Yuri and your play to see what happens.
Kind of cut out.
I
there,
definitely.
Alex.
He hits play. I've loaded the cassette with things that I thought were relevant for Amriel and Greg.
You made us mixtapes.
Sure.
Yeah. Greg,
So, what
playing,
kind of music did Yuri make for Greg?
Wait.
Is it vaporwave?
No, that doesn't seem Greg-ish.
Tooth and throat singing.
Definitely. Yeah. Cloud9. Just yep. Or like I don't know. What seems like a good theme song for Greg?
I don't know. I don't know if I have
Somewhere
a feeling
Over the Rainbow starts playing.
I have a feeling since Greg's culture doesn't have music, he might just be fascinated by like the really experimental, just like sound effects things.
I was gonna suggest recording
Greg starts
storms, but that would actually be horror music.
Yeah, no.
What happens is Greg hits play, right? And then like you hear a crackle and then nothing. And then it cuts to Yuri back on the spaceship a few days ago being like making some mixtapes. And I'm like, Greg's going to love this one. And you see at the top of the order is John Cage's 9 Minutes of Silence.
Nice.
Greg's sitting in the car. I get it.
Greg would get it. Does Abrielle listen to her mixtape?
Yeah, I do.
Bat Out of Hell.
Of course.
Nice.
Then followed by Highway
No
to
hesitation.
Hell. Then
Highway to Hell.
Road to Hell.
Yep.
Then Time in a Bottle, just to break it up.
Burning Ring of Fire.
I'm loving the thought of a demon in a spacesuit driving a race car across the desert as all these songs play, and then if I could save time in a bottle.
I would do anything for love. I feel would come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like Meatloaf is popular in hell.
Probably.
Good.
Brie. And that's 2 and that's 3. You curve round this, large pond of strange fluids, and then you come to what looks like somebody laid out pipelines of twisting metallic coral from seemingly nothing, and then it just shoots across for a huge distance. It kind of divides you, forces you to follow it for a while until you come to a point where you just see they start to like spread out from one another. They're not like uniformly next to one another, but they were closer, and then they sort of spread out, and then you see them like erupt and fray like ropes that have been severed, but they don't look like fibers. They look like stone has somehow been split open like cloth. It's super weird to look at.
Wait, is this happening as we move, or just like it's frozen
these
this
are
way?
static objects, but
Okay.
like these kind of coral tube pipeline thingies force you to follow them for a while because there's no way to get away from them, and you need to be on the other side of them. And then you come to a part where they spread apart from one another and then split open like ropes that have just been hacked apart, and you find a way around them then. As you circumvent them, you see a rather open space, and in front of you in the distance, you see several large clusters of thrusters, and they have like a dim light in them, almost like they're trying to turn on. And then just past them, further in the distance, you see maybe like a couple of kilometers away from you, you see that mothership. You are getting closer. And as you start to roll past these thrustery things, they spark to life.
Of course.
They ignite, and you realize either it's either be trapped here by the thrusters or try and speed past them before they fully ignite and burn you to death. You have to make a split decision: wait or go.
Through the fire, Amriel?
Let's do it, Dots 3.
Make me drive checks, or pilot in Greg's case.
Okay.
Okay.
Meanwhile, also in space.
That is... I'm at +1, so I'm going to invoke... because that feels like not enough.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know, you'd be surprised.
I'm going to invoke the smartest cloud in the room, because I am the smartest cloud in the room, so I'm going to, like, instead of driving in a straight line, Greg is, like, driving in slight arcs to, like, go around the hardest thrust that's coming out of these things.
You've seen Yuri change the height on the legs of the Datsun. Maybe if you lower it, you'll get skirt under one of the thrusters.
That too. So that puts me at +3.
Brilliant.
All right. And I think I'm also going to spend a fate point, and I'm going to invoke Hell's Fury Unleashed because I'm too angry to die like this.
We're going to die being burnt by an engine.
On the moon?
What is this, face-off?
That's a stupid way to die.
And what does that put you at?
+3.
+3. So you both beat my -2.
Yes. Okay.
As you shoot past, and these thrusters ignite just as you pass them, and you see whole parts of the regolith get blasted away and melted by these thrusters. Yuri, how's the wild goose chase going? Have you peeled off from the other teams yet?
I think the wild goose chase is mostly just Yuri cutting a relatively casual path through the craters and stuff, heading like southwest. And I don't know, it depends what you want to do, but I'm kind of fine for like this to just be like Yuri and the rest of them stick around off screen for a bit. For
Yeah, that's fine. So
Yuri
you'd
to
like
return at
drive
the narratively
through.
convenient moment. But yeah, I imagine
and-
like Yuri's like speeding off and TKS are like following behind.
Yeah, they're trying to work out what the fuck is going on while your car can change color.
Yuri, oh no, well no, see they saw that this is the original car, so they've
Yeah.
seen the first car.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I'm not trying to be. I'm sort of trying to like keep it straight from here. Like I'm not trying to like swerve and dodge and dick around too much. I'm trying to like pretend like I'm actually heading somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. So
Cool.
our that's 2 and 3. You roll towards what you assume is the mothership. You're sort of coming at it from the rear. You can see its weird clusters of thrusters, and its body. You do see the odd little light on it, blinking kind of purple.
On the mothership?
Yeah, not many, but the odd little light, ultraviolet almost light up there about it as you draw closer to it. It
It's
is
fine.
an imposing structure, half buried in the lunar soil with this kind of almost like pangolin type scale to it all, as in scales. It is also colossal in size. But cool. Almost like a beehive or a pine cone with engines.
A pine cone with engines. Okay.
But more, or maybe like arrowheads kind of overlapping each other, like a four-edged broadhead. It's kind of both shapes at once.
Okay.
It's hard to get a clear sense of its shape. Just looking at it, it's almost like it is built to be confusing to the eye. Or maybe it's just confusing to your eyes, and the race that built it found it perfectly understandable shape.
Yeah, of course.
What are we looking at here, Greg?
A spaceship.
Thank you. How do we get inside?
Well, they gave us keys.
Oh, that's right.
Did you?
Well, they gave us something that they said would open it for us.
Well, it would open doors. It's probably intended for internal doors.
Yeah.
But like it opened cars. Like it's almost a universal key.
I forget. Did they give us one or did they give us three?
They give you 3. They're like smartphones, but they only have one thing on them.
Yeah, so we each have one.
And they have a bulbous end to them that extends out because it is nanotech. So you put it against the thing and then like it spreads out like circuitry through the device.
So we need to find a door somewhere that we can access.
Mm-hmm. So as you're driving around the outside of it and you come up to
I was going to say, what if we go in separate directions around? So like...
Sure. So who goes towards the front to circle around from the front, and who goes back towards the thrusters from the direction you came? Not the thrusters that burnt you, the thrusters of this ship.
Oh.
I'll go back toward the thrusters.
All right. Emriel, you come round the back of the ship and you see these big cavernous engine holes. Who has children over?
There's some children next door.
Okay. And you circle around to the far side. It takes you a little while. Don't really spot any entrances or anything. You see up towards the high up on the back end of the ship, it looks like there might be a doorway, but there's got to be something lower to the ground that'll be easier to get in but you make note of it in case it's the only opening.
All right.
Greg, you
Yeah.
come round the tip of the front, and you see spheres, almost like pustules, as if somebody had tried to sculpt pustules out of metal.
Okay.
There's you saw similar shapes across the ship, but there's more of them at this tip. Some of them look cracked and broken open, and others look fine. But you circle around it, and you see.
Does it look like, just quick, does it look like part of the ship or something that's on the ship?
They look like parts of the ship. Yeah, they look like components, as opposed to something.
So it's supposed to be like this. It's not like
it's just a weird architectural choice. The rest of this thing's kind of angular, and then it's got big fucking pustules on it. But they look like they're meant to be there.
Gotcha.
And then you come round the side, and you see like a laser. It looks like a tapering laser cut that gets wider and wider, and then turns into like ripped metal, as if somebody made a slice open with a laser beam and then tore a larger hole with their hands. They'd have to be colossal hands, but that's kind of what it's like.
Is that an opening into the ship?
Yes, into the ship. It's like a laser scalpel, and then someone's just pulled this meat of this ship apart.
Amriel, I think I found an entrance.
All right, Dots 3, I'm coming around to your side. I struck out.
And Greg, you see purple lights turn on in the hole. Deep inside that hole, there's something turning on. At first, it kind of flickers and dims itself in and out as it's turning on, and then like the lights start to pop, like they burst purple, fade to nothing, and then as your eyes, well, not your eyes, but you get what I mean, as your viewing devices adjust, there's just this steady purple light, and they keep doing that weird pop in thing. And then you think you see motion, like the lights are shifting backwards and forwards, or maybe spiraling around one another. And then they start, the light's movement starts to speed up, this churning, and you see like these, almost like a mixture between Celtic knotwork and the churning of waves and magma, just traced in purple light in the deep darkness of this hole.
It's fine. That's fine. Could I try to figure out what's going on?
Go for it. Super science.
I'm gonna do that.
Amriel, you're rolling down. You can see DATS 3 in the distance as you're drawing closer to it. It's a few 100 meters off.
All right.
I got a +3. Is that enough, or?
It's enough for you to know that this is, if not a living thing in the biological sense, a living thing in the mental sense. This is a being of some kind, just as you see tentacly, crabby pincers kind of shoot out of this thing, and like a laser bolt of purple light streak past DATS 3. Amriel, you just see a beam of light shoot out of this hole of the ship and explode some regolith between you and Greg's Datsun.
Space anglerfish crab! Space anglerfish crab!
That doesn't sound good. What do we got? Hostiles?
As you say, what do we got? Hostiles? You just see these 3 tentacles that end in like scorpion pincers or maybe crab pincers shoot out and reach around the hull of the ship and then lever out this metallic-looking mess of spaceship parts and junk.
And got one of those like really like low dramatic shots as it like looms up.
Yeah, and it pulls itself out. It's very bulbous, looking kind of like a soccer ball fucked a clock radio, a squid, and and a crab.
That sounds like a party.
Yeah. Sounds like a good fiasco scenario.
Yeah.
Sure does.
Seems pretty hostile to me.
Greg starts driving in reverse while commanding the spaceship to come over.
So I think Amriel's like speeding to converge with Greg. Greg's like starts backing up, and then over the radio, Yuri kicks in, and he's like, "All right, guys, I lied. These things got one more trick other than a 2-stack chipset player."
And then you guys see DATS 4 and DATS 5 shoot over the dunes and craters
as DATS 1
DATS 1
launches from behind through the air towards you two.
What colors are DATS 4 and 5?
We've got red, yellow, blue, and then they're definitely green and pink.
Yeah, of course.
As these other 3 Datsuns like soar over the crater behind you, and then should I spend a fate point to invoke this aspect, or
no,
or just
why not?
I'm fine to spend a fate point to make this happen because it's pretty
go
fucking.
for it. Go for it.
So I spend. Where is it? Oh fuck. I spend a fate point to invoke the additional aspect that I put on the Datsun, which is Datsun Zord. So we zoom in on Yuri. I like flip the center console open, where is normally where I keep all my cassettes. Tuck a couple of things out, pull out some gum, shuffle around, and then at the bottom there's a button, a big fucking red button, and I slam it while in midair.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the Datsuns start like splitting half open.
Yeah.
And we go into a full like transform scene where they like slide into each other.
Yeah, the wheels are like locking in, and it's like fucking Power Rangers Turbo up in here as 5 cars become one large kind of hillbilly Megazord.
And then we definitely get like a triple slash cut in the anime of like Yuri, Amriel, and Greg in like 3 separate little pilot seats.
Mm-hmm.
Gabrielle is just like frozen in terror.
Can you hear me clapping for you?
Is it a normal Megazord type thing where like somehow you all end up in the one cockpit next to one another?
I think. Yeah, I think so. Essentially, it's like that. It's like I think it's sort of like the 3, except I don't think it's like cockpits. It's essentially like 3, driver's seat windshield sections. In the head and then shoulders, so we're all just like in 3 car like top sections sitting next to each other.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's a weird thing.
As it like zooms out, and it's this Megazord Transformers thing of like giant wheels, hydraulic arms, 2 big legs, rising up to like stand at full height with essentially a like bunch of like Datsun front grills and lights up its chest.
Part Turbo Megazord, part Devastator.
As it like stands up to full height.
And this bulbous crab tentacle thing swarms out. And I think we have enough time to do a sweet-ass Megazord fight.
Excellent. I was thinking essentially that like, given that we all have partial control, we can do our respective things via the Megazord. The Datsun Zord.
The Datsun Zord. So the arm of Greg's maybe ends in like this mass of welding tools and angle grinders, so Greg could do disassembly things, and then maybe there's like a big ass
definitely
kind
has to be like Yeah.
Yeah, like a chainsaw blade with gas flames coming off of it.
Mm-hmm.
On Emriel's hand.
Yep. Yeah, so it's big. It's like big left blue arm, right red arm, center chest / head is yellow, and then a left pink and a right green leg.
As you do.
As it like sidles into its attack formation, pulling its chainsaw blade up over its head and like one arm out.
Yeah.
Taking stock of the crab thing.
So the crab thing's kind of so its tentacles it's got its body hanging in the air, and its tentacles are kind of coming up out of the top of it and then going back down towards the ground to kind of act as legs. So its legs are coming off the top of it and coming back down. And it's kind of looking at you confused for a minute, and then you see it kind of convulse like it's gonna throw up its entire organs, you guess, or engine. It's not clear whether it's a machine or an animal, and it's like hocking like a loogie. It's like the dragon thing in Evolution when it's given birth, or I guess like the dragon thing in Pacific Rim when it's giving birth. And then you see like it's just like the ball part kind of like split open, and this mass of metallic, hyper-colored goop and machine parts spew out of the bottom as the rest of it kind of falls apart into a very dry-looking pile of scrap. And then this lithe, humanoid figure with like an insectoid bionicle robot face stands up, and then it grabs one of the tentacles like a chain flail and starts spinning it around overhead.
Oh god, it's seen Sentai. We're fucked.
You have chosen the form of your destroyer, effectively. You went humanoid, it copied.
Cool.
What, Yuri? What the hell is going on? When did you make all these dances?
You know, I was busy.
I can see.
A man gets lonely at night.
Needs more than one Datsun, and I've got more than room for more than one Datsun in my heart, Greg.
I can't uneat all those other cereals, Cheerios.
That's one isn't just enough.
What?
Look, we could go.
And as you guys are discussing when the logistics of building all these other cars, a big, huge piece of tentacle flail slams in to the Greg side of the Datsun Zord as you go stumbling back into a big, huge cardboard and masking tape spaceship.
Yeah, we definitely do it like a big, like dramatic slide through the dust and like come to a slamming halt.
Yeah.
Look, Greg, talk about it after.
All right,
we need to
so
kill that now.
It's reaching back to hit its tentacle flail again, and Greg lashes out with his arm that has all the cutty bits on it, and like grabs what would be the chain part of the flail, and just hits it with all the giant chainsaws and whatever else is in the hand to sever it.
The big cutting blades and oxy torches. Just this
whatever.
Mass. It looks like a ZPM of fire. You punch into the flail, and it kind of wraps half around the fist as you melt through the tentacle flail. And it just hangs limply from what remains of your hand, and then the thing stops swinging the cord and like snaps it taut in the middle, and then you see more of that metallic, hyper-colored liquid flow out of its arms and over the tentacle cord, and now it's like solid, like a staff. And then you see it like do a bunch of twirls around itself, like it's about to do some sweet Joe Doom. And then
we do some similar sword tricks with our chainsaw.
Yeah, and it stops spinning the stuff behind it, and then it like brings it back and goes to smack you with its staff. What do you do?
Ariel?
What does my arm have again?
Big
It has
chainsaw flame blade.
a big flaming chainsaw blade.
Sweet.
A less elegant, more flaming version of the sword from Pacific Rim.
Nice. In that case, I think we're gonna parry with that, and try to knock the staff out of its hands.
All right, well, make me a parry.
Let's see.
And depending on how well you go, will determine whether you knock it out of its hands. This is opposed.
Can I use my sword skill, or is that not a thing?
You can use your sword skill.
Okay.
Totally. You're not driving it.
Oh, okay, no. I'm gonna spend a fate point and re-roll that because I rolled 4 minuses.
Mm-hmm. So what aspect are you invoking?
I'm gonna invoke the me in team because I don't want to be the weak tit.
All right.
All right, and we will re-roll that.
Go, Datsun Rangers. This is going to make
much better.
You guys are going to be able to like sell a TV script when you're done.
Hell yes.
So I went from 4 minuses to 3 pluses, and that puts me at a +6.
Well, that's 3 more than it. So you definitely knock the staff out of its hands. Describe what this all looks like as it swings its staff at you.
It swings its staff down for a blow, and I raise the chainsaw arm by I don't know, I guess like jamming my feet on the gas and brake and shifting.
Yep.
And there's kind of a matchup as I spin the wheel left and right to kind of control the arm.
Yeah, and like the gear stick is a bit of that as well.
Much like in any giant suit anime or anything, it's unclear how the actual controls
How
translate.
exactly we work.
Because it seems like whenever you want something to happen, it's always the same action. Look dramatic like you're applying effort, scream, and slam that weird slidey trigger thing that's mounted to the side of the cockpit forward while pulling the other one back.
Yeah,
That's how you do
but
it.
in this case, it's like comically like disconnected in that it's like you scream, look concentrated, and then like slam the accelerator, and then things happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Or
I
like put it into
downshift-
6th gear.
Yeah, I downshift, turn the steering wheel to the left, scream, look dramatic, then look confused. It cuts to the outside where the Datsun Zord raises its chainsaw arm to just meet the staff as it comes down. They clash for a moment, and there's like a really dramatic close-up shot of this alien horror thing staring in at Yuri in the head cockpit. And then the chainsaw manages to slice through the staff, and it comes out of the thing's hands and just tumbles away across the lunar surface.
Yeah, it seems
Nice.
to drop the piece that it has remaining, and it kind of takes a few steps back from you, almost like it's very reminiscent of like the part in a martial arts movie where one of them loses their weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, is the other guy just gonna keep wailing on him with his weapon, or are they both gonna de-weapon?
and then as it like
And
takes
then
a
you
couple
show
of
it
steps
how
back,
this
there's
is
like
a
a
martial arts movie.
yeah, exactly. It takes a couple of steps back, and we have that like brief moment of standoff, and then essentially the 5 Datsun front grills up down the front chest like light up, flaring it in the face with high beams, and then Yuri just like kicks it in the chest.
Do you double kick it? Is it a double flying kick?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Double flying Datsun kick.
Yeah, so we get it from like its perspective where it's just like facing us down, and then it's like a flare of light, and then as the like stars fade, you then see the Datsun Zord just like running full pelt, and then like launches itself for like a double front kick into its chest.
You see a pink and green wheeled foot slam into the chest of this thing, and you actually kind of feel the Datsun Zord's feet sink a little before it like kind of bounces back like rubber and pushes your feet away as it goes stumbling back into the ship. And it kind of like bends its back over it, almost like a person like stumbling into like a like into a piece of industrial machinery. And it kind of like rolls and grabs at its spine.
And the Datsun Zord, we like land lying down and then like kick jump up to standing position.
Yeah. This is pretty fucking baller.
We do the superhero landing.
Oh, it's better. You do the superhero jump land thing where you like jump up.
Do the martial arts double kick from lying down.
Yeah. When like you could just get up like a normal person.
Yeah, exactly. But why would we do that?
Could.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I could do that, I would do that all the time. I would fall over just so I could do that.
Yeah.
And then we charge at it.
Yeah, I guess it's your turn to act. As it's kind of reeling and it's like, oh, my back.
Yuri like charges in. And he's like, big push, guys.
Wait, we have to do our super finisher. That's how these things end.
Yes, I think also in this moment, like I realized because Yuri is essentially a number of suits inside suits. I do a bunch of that like over pantomime acting of the Power Rangers because you can't see their faces, so it's a lot of like fist pump, front point.
Yeah,
we've got to get them.
I'm picturing there's like one of those slash cuts where like the screen comes in just on the eyes, but it's the head of the Datsun Zord. Then it cuts to Yuri's spacesuit, then to Yuri's biosuit, then to Yuri's mask, then to Yuri's eyes, and he says, "Let's finish this."
Yeah.
So what is the Datsun Zord's finisher? Does
Ariel,
it summon a weapon out of nowhere? Like, does it like grab the spaceship like a kind of a shield thing, or
no?
like...
I think it's gonna have to be like a no, it's gonna be like a combination thing. So Yuri, I like charge forward, slam it against
like in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when they lay their weapons on top of one another and it makes a big gut.
Well, yeah, I charge forward, like slam against it with our two sort of front fists, and then like launch it over my shoulder into the air. Greg, second bit, I guess.
Oh, okay. So Greg, I'm thinking Amriel should have the second bit.
Okay, yeah, Amriel.
All right, so you launched it into the air. Amriel looks determined and gives a predatory grin as she upshifts and then leans on the horn, and a novelty horn plays like Cucaracha. And then
like 5 times.
The chainsaw arm detaches and like rockets toward this thing, like slicing it up its belly, and it tumbles down to the lunar surface, very badly wounded, but still set up for the finisher.
Greg.
So it's there, kneeling, I guess, with holding its stomach, and Greg's arm shoots out and drives across the desert, the lunar desert, and up. Like it drives like up the side of the thing and loops around and around and around. And there's a flash of light as it's just laser cutting as it goes. So it's like, remember we talked about peeling the apple before in the machine?
Yeah.
That's what it's doing.
The thing screams as it's like, ah! It remembers this pain from before. And then like
And
light
then like a
shine.
shower of sparks.
Yeah, sparks and light shines out of it, and then like slow motion, it's just falling as all this dry ice fog wafts off of it, and it collapses into the lunar dust. And then like we turn, and there's a shot of you with it exploding behind you as you're in the Datsun zone, striking a cool pose.
Oh yeah, we can't be looking at it when it explodes.
Yep.
Yeah.
We then like stride into the big hole in the side of the ship.
The Datsun Zord holds up its stump from the chainsaw arm where it rocketed up, and then it just catches it as it clicks back into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very Evil Dead with a Megazord.
That's what happens. The arm comes back and clicks into place, and then kaboom right behind us.
And then in the American dub of this Japanese show, it cuts to the three of you standing in the hull as you look to one another and go, but wait, we still have to find our way through the base! And you look back and forwards between one another, shocked. And then it comes up with a little title card that says, to be continued. Well, actually, it probably says, to be concluded.
We hope.
We do.
I can't imagine this needing
Yeah.
more than more.
Well,
Nice.
Brilliant.
But
I
yeah,
think
how did you like Finn's Datsun Zord that we decided to keep hidden from you guys until a dramatic moment?
that was fantastic.
I loved it. I was not expecting it.
We
It was
did
amazing.
kind of foreshadow it a little.
I
Which
have
was
to
good.
say-
Yeah, well, once.
I have to say that
No, continue.
we definitely topped superhero fight on the side of a crashing spaceship over Paris with naked Hitler bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the important thing. I don't know what the conclusion of this is going to look like. I don't know where I go from Megazord. Like, normally a Power Ranger episode finishes with a Megazord fight, so... I don't know, maybe you'll
It
get
could be one of those
inside.
fights where we have to like call up the Dragon Zord and form a Super Megazord.
Yeah, the spaceship comes and,
Oh God!
and
We
you
like-
ride
we
on it like
Megazord with all
Goku
of
on
TKS.
Nimbus.
We Megazord with the other two teams.
Yeah, yeah. You plug them in like how sometimes there's like a 6th and 7th Megazord that are just like weapon additions that like
Yeah, we just
slot
wield the
onto
tank like a
arm.
giant gun.
Yeah. Or Greg parks the spaceship on the head and forms like a super helmet.
And then we ride TKSs like an awesome skateboard.
Gnarly dudes.
We're gonna surf back to Earth.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Well, yeah. So we tried to foreshadow it a little, like with the tarps in the base and the. Oh, Yuri, have you been letting people into the garage? Because Finn said, I think
Well,
if
you had all
we
those.
kept it hidden from them until we use it.
No, that was fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. I was not expecting that, but it was
No.
wonderful.
Oh, look, Yuri just built 2 more cars.
Yeah.
I loved it when you guys were designing the spacesuit, and we'll end the recording in a minute. And Finn was like, maybe we paint each of the spacesuits in a primary color.
Yeah.
Randomly off the top of my head.
I just thought that might be
Yeah.
a cool idea.
Yeah.
I did not think of it then. In hindsight, I should have probably realized.
They were our Super Sentai uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, indeed. But brilliant, love it. I think this is going quite well. I can't wait to see what you guys do in the last game.
Yep.
It was fun when Finn was like, "I'm gonna make a Datsun Megazord," and I'm like, "Well, shit! Now I got to give you something to fight."
Can't just have this and not
Can't just
use
fight.
it.
Can't just fight with nothing.
Yeah, indeed. So it had to be like a monster thing that you could fight, because I'm like, even if I can't just like have the spaceship's turrets turn on, because it's like, oh well, great.
Kapew. Brilliant. Yep.
Great. Fantastic. So
That run went exactly as how I wanted it to.
Finn reclines in his chair as he wipes his hands and does not contribute to the last
My
game.
job is done.
Mic drop.
Fantastic. So thank you for listening, and we apologize that we've had to stretch this last heat out a bit, but the next episode will probably be pretty short, but we hope that you enjoyed our Super Sentai's fight, because we fucking loved playing it. If you have any thoughts on this recording, please shoot us a comment, and don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with other people. Sharing the podcast is the main way that you can help us grow and extend our reaches across the planet Earth. Farewell from the past. I'm Raymond.